we are going to set up our remarketing tag, and I'm going to show you how to install the remarketing tag on your website, and we're going to go ahead and create our remarketing audiences. Remarketing is really an essential part of your overall account strategy. It's really important to be able to stay in front of your visitors, to be able to get them back to your site time and time again, because as we saw, very, very few people are going to convert or going to take that action you want them to take right away. They're usually going to have to come to your website a few times. They're going to go through an educational process, and remarketing allows you to specifically target those people who left your site, who abandoned your site, or who engaged with your site to a certain extent. So let's go ahead and generate our remarketing tag, and that's the first thing we have to do. Now keep in mind, we're in a test account for Poppin Furniture, so we can't actually go ahead and add the remarketing tag to Poppin's site, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on our site, adventureppc.com, for our agency, and I'm going to show you exactly where you would edit the tag, where you would find the tag, and more specifically how to test to make sure that your tag is working. Okay, so the first thing we do is we navigate down here to the bottom left hand of the screen to what we call the shared library. If you remember, we use the shared library to take a look at negative keyword lists. And this shared library is also where we're going to set up our remarketing campaigns and generate our remarketing tag. So go ahead and click on shared library. Okay, and the first in the first row, first column, audiences, this is the area which we want to navigate to get our remarketing tag. So we go ahead and click view, or you can navigate to audiences from the left hand panel as well. It's the same thing. Because we don't have any remarketing campaigns or remarketing tags set up on the website yet, we need to first set up remarketing. We're going to leave use dynamic ads deselected because we're not going to be running dynamic ads right now. In fact, Poppin would probably be a good candidate for dynamic remarketing, and you guys know what dynamic remarketing is from the previous video, so we're just going to go ahead and click set up remarketing without checking that box. And Google's going to ask us right away how we want to handle adding the tag to your site. Okay, so AdWords makes it very easy for you to send tags to your web developer or your webmaster right by email. If you don't have access to your site's code, if you don't have access to the back end of your site, then you want to send an email to the person who manages your site from here. What we're going to do is deselect send instructions by email, and we're going to click view AdWords tags for websites, and here is our AdWords tag in this box. If I just click in it once, it's going to select the entire thing for me. This complete piece of code, what we call a snippet, this snippet of code, this is our Google remarketing tag. And remember, we want this tag on every page of our site. We want it to be global. So what I would do generally is copy this code by Command-C or Control-C, and then go into my web area and paste the code. Okay, we're not going to do that now because we simply don't have access to Poppin's website. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to our website, and I'll show you exactly what the tag looks like once it's installed. So I'm going to click continue, return to audiences, and now we're going to be on our standard audiences page that you're always going to see. Okay, so Google generates for you an all visitors list by default. This is going to be anybody who comes to your site. It's not part of a campaign yet. We're not advertising to these people. Google is just collecting cookie IDs of people who have been cookied by our remarketing tag. And as you can see over here in the upper right hand corner, Google's giving us a warning, an error sign that we haven't detected the AdWords tag on your website or in your app. And this is where you would go in and get the tag details again. I could view the tag implementations and instructions, and I could once again go ahead and view my tag right here if I ever need to get it again. Okay. Now let's go over to adventureppc.com. This is our agency website, and we're going to test. I'm going to refresh the page, and we're going to test if there is a remarketing tag installed on the page. There's two ways to do this. If you notice in the upper right hand corner, there's a little icon that looks like a shopping tag with the number 2. This is called Tag Assistant by Google. It's a Google Chrome extension. Okay, the way you get that is by going to your Chrome extensions, by clicking Settings, More Tools, Extensions, and you'll be able to go ahead and search for the tag assistant and add it to your Chrome browser. Okay, so once you have that added, it's a really handy tool to check for Google tags loaded on any given page. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply click the tag, and I'm getting a little bit of an issue. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's a little fussy. Let's try it again here. And here we go. And it drops down nice, and we see here there are two Google tags. One is Google Analytics, which we have our Google Analytics tag installed on the site, and it's also showing me that we do have our remarketing tag installed. If I click on the remarketing tag, I could see the conversion ID and the actual code snippet. Okay. Another way to test to see if you have a remarketing tag installed is you could view the page source of this page. So if I right click anywhere on the page and I click view page source, I get the page source for this page. And I'm going to just hit Command F, jump back over to our tag manager, grab the remarketing tag ID, copy it, and then we could go back to view page source, and I could search for that ID, and here it is. Okay. This is our remarketing tag, and it's viewed in the page source. So you could copy the ID from your tag in your AdWords dashboard, and you can come into your page source to view it. Once your tag is implemented, you want to make sure it's working. So now I know I have a tag installed, and just to show you it's on every page, let's say I go over to our reviews page. If I click on the tag manager again, once again it's being a little fussy tonight. It usually works really well. And here it is. We see the remarketing tag once again is on every page. So we have the remarketing tag on every page of our site. It's a global tag. We put the tag in our footer, and that's kind of the ideal place to put the remarketing tag. Now, I'm not sure exactly what web host or web management solution, content management system you're using. You might be using a custom solution. It's very likely you're using WordPress because WordPress is the most popular content management solution. You might be using Squarespace. You might be using Weebly, Wix, Cloud Pages, Unbounce, Duda. There's really a lot of different solutions that you might be using, but I'm going to show you right now exactly how it works with WordPress. If you're using something other than WordPress, what you want to do is add the code to a footer block. It's an HTML code. It will not display on the page. You want to just add it in an HTML or text editor block in the footer of your website. But let me show you how it looks in WordPress. So let me jump over into our WordPress dashboard. And if you're familiar with WordPress, this will look really familiar with you. We'll come down over here under Appearance, and then in the flyout menu for Appearance, you want to click on Widgets. And this will use, depending on the theme you're using, a lot of different themes work differently. This will generally bring up your footer widgets and all the different widgets you use throughout the site. We went ahead and added the code very simply in a text widget in the footer area. And if I drop this down, we'll see this is exactly where my Google code for remarketing lives. Now, if I select all and I get rid of it and I click Save, and we come back to our website, and we go to our tag manager, we'll see that we no longer have the remarketing tag installed on our site because we're just showing Google Analytics. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go in there. If I didn't have a text widget, for example, let's say this was not here, and I wanted to add a new text widget, I just grab my widget, drag it over, open it up. You don't put a title. I paste in my remarketing tag, I click Save, and that is it. It's all done. It's super, super simple. But yet you still want to make sure that you're testing it once it's installed. So I'm going to refresh my main page of the website, go back to the tag assistant, and now I see the remarketing tag is fired correctly. Okay, so now the remarketing tag, I'll just make sure it's working on all the pages. Here's our contact us page, and there it is. Okay, so I know that remarketing tag is installed properly. I could get rid of this. I can get rid of my WordPress dashboard, and let's go back into our campaign. So now that we've created an AdWords tag, and just kind of imagine that our remarketing tag was installed properly on Poppin, now we want to go ahead and create a remarketing list. Some people call them remarketing audiences, some people call them remarketing lists. Either way, it's fine. Okay, and these are going to be lists that we're going to use in future campaigns. Just creating the lists does not mean we're creating a campaign. We're just creating a list. We're just creating specific audiences. It's not necessarily we're not going to be running ads to them. We might not want to use them right away. We might want to start capturing certain types of visitors for later use, but it's always good to start creating your audiences now. So over here, like I said, we have our default all visitors audience, which was automatically generated for us by Google right when we set up remarketing. But let's say we want to create a little bit more thoughtful of a remarketing list. Let's say we want to track people who came to the file cabinets page, because we want to, for example, Poppin is pushing their file cabinets very aggressively because they have high margins on them. They're high quality products and they have a very low return rate. And I'm just making all that up, but let's say that's the scenario. So I'll copy this page, go back over to my remarketing audience. I'm going to create a new remarketing list, and it's going to be made up of website visitors. Okay, that's the remarketing audiences that we're going to be working with. So you click website visitors. We're going to name the list. So visitors of file cabinets main page, and people who visited a page with any of the following. These are my rules. Okay, so they visited the file cabinets page, and I have the option that the URL contains or the referrer URL contains. In this case, we want to click the URL contains, but I don't need to have the entire URL in there, because as long as it contains this extension or this subdirectory, we're going to be getting the correct people on this list. And once again, I could estimate my list size if my remarketing tag was active and there were people already who had come to this page. I would be able to see exactly how many cookies or how many people are going to be eligible to be marketed to on this remarketing audience. Right now it's telling me the list is empty. That's because we don't have a remarketing tag and we haven't captured any visitors. And in this box, we have the option to include past users who match these rules. I usually like to do that in some cases. If you recently made changes to your website, or you for some reason knew that the traffic that have come to your pages was not good traffic, then you would not want to include past users who match these rules. Membership duration. This is something we mentioned in the previous video. How long will it take for the cookie to expire on your visitor's browser? So it's generally 30 days. Let's say I know that Poppin has a longer sales funnel at 60 days, so I'll make it 60 days. So it'll be a 60-day cookie. That means if somebody comes to my website on October 10th, right? They're cookied. We drop a cookie, a pixel into their browser. We then could remarket to them as part of this audience if they come to the furniture page. And if they have not come back to the site within 60 days, after 60 days, they are no longer eligible to be remarketed to with our remarketing campaigns. Okay? In this box, we could add a description. There's no need for me to do that here because it's a self-explanatory rule. And we'll go ahead and click Save. Okay, so now we're going to start populating this audience of people who visited the file cabinets main page. Now remember, we spoke about the idea of creating a cart abandoner campaign, a cart abandoner audience, so we could target specific people who had added products to the cart but did not check out. So for example, let's say we wanted to do that with Poppin. So let's go ahead and add an item to the cart so we can get the cart URL. So I'll go over to the white snow 3 drawer. I'll choose my color and I'll add it to the cart. Okay, now let's say I want to view the cart. So if I want to view my cart, I want to then take this URL after I viewed the cart, because this is the URL that signifies somebody coming to the site with a product in the cart. Now you might be thinking, well, maybe the person clicked on the cart icon and they didn't really have any products in the cart, so they're not really a cart abandoner. And I would say you're right. That could happen. But the overwhelming majority of people who are coming to the cart page will have a product in the cart. Okay, so I'll take the cart URL, just the end of it, go back over to my AdWords dashboarding. I'm going to want to create a new remarketing audience. Once again, we'll choose website visitors. We'll call this one cart abandoners. Visitors of a page, and we're going to start now. We're going to add a rule. So first, we're going to include anybody who visited the /cart page, okay? But we want to add a second rule. We want to make sure there are people who did not check out. I don't want to I don't want to run a remarketing campaign for file cabinets for people who already bought them. So I want to make sure that it's only people who added items to the cart, but not people who checked out. In order to do that, we need to add a second rule. So we click plus rule. One page must have all of the following. And over here is where we create our second rule. So the URL does not contain / and I'm not going to go ahead and order a $300 file cabinet right now, but let's just assume, let's pretend that their URL for the order complete thank you page was order dash confirmation. That's a pretty standard one. Okay, I'll click done, and now I have two rules. I have the people who visited a page that included / cart, but they did not view a page that included or contained / order confirmation. Those are the people that will be eligible for this audience. Okay, once again, let's say I want to make this a 70-day membership duration. I'll click save, and now I have my third list, right? I have a automatically created all visitors list that AdWords made me. This will be everyone on my remarketing list. Visitors of file cabinets main page, and cart abandoners. Okay, so that's the way we set up remarketing audiences. As time goes on, and once you have your remarketing tag, you're going to start seeing list sizes here. You're going to start seeing people populating these lists. Now, what about running a remarketing campaign? Okay, now we're not going to get very deep right now at this time into setting up display campaigns, because this course is really focusing on search. But let me show you the steps to basically apply this list to certain campaigns. Okay, go back to all campaigns, and we're going to create a new campaign. We could create a search network only campaign, or we could create a display network only campaign, or we could do a search network with display select, which is a campaign type that I really don't like, and you should never really use it. Okay, so let's say we were going to do a remarketing campaign for search, because that's very appropriate for us. What that means is somebody who's been to our site before and now they're back at Google search and they're searching for certain keywords, we want to target those specific previous website visitors. We spoke about remarketing lists and search ads, RLSA, in the previous video, so you know what that is. So I'm going to go ahead and click search network only. And let's say we want to do a cart abandoners campaign. I'm nervous that people are coming to Poppin, they're adding items to the cart, and then they're going back to Google to comparison shop. So I want to be there. I want to show another ad to those people and give them a 5% coupon. It's a really, really powerful technique. It's really, really cool stuff. So I'll name this remarketing to cart abandoners, and we'll maybe just copy this because I'm gonna do all features, and I'm gonna have to click OK. And I'll paste my campaign name back in there. And we have all the same settings. So we're not going to go ahead and run through all these settings. Once again, I'll include search partners, US and Canada, and default bid, let's say, is 3. Well, I'll make my default bid a little bit more aggressive at $4 because, that's probably too aggressive. I'll make it at $3 because with the remarketing, I know that the quality of my visit of the visitors who are going to be seeing my ad is going to be very high, because not only do I know that they were on my website, because I'm only going to be using our cart abandoners audience to target this campaign, I know that these are people who are very close to checking out. So you know what, I'm going to go back up to $4 on that, and our budget, let's make it $200 a day, because I'm really want to make sure I get all the impressions possible. And I'll choose my delivery method to accelerated. I could add my site link extensions right from here. So I could add some site link extensions, and I could schedule it if I want to, and we'll click save and continue. So ad group is remarketing, or 10% coupon. So this ad group will be focused on giving people a 10% coupon to come back. And keep in mind, we're only targeting this ad that we're writing now is only going to be shown to people who have been to our site and who have added products to the cart, because we're only going to be using the remarketing audience called cart abandoners to target these ads. So headline could read something like, Very straightforward. So I think this is a powerful headline. 10% off your pop-in cart. It's immediately giving off the impression and it's immediately conveying a sense of personalization. I'm speaking to you and I'm also telling you, I know that you've been to our site. I know that you almost ordered and I really want you to order. It means something to me. And it means so much that here's a 10% coupon. So you're conveying to a person that I'm treating you in an individualized way, while at the same time offering them a discount, which is incredibly valuable to the consumer. Description line 1. You could be as clear as unclear as you'd like. You could kind of write features, benefits. It's not as important here to describe the products because these are people who already added products to the cart. You want to just appeal to the person. So here we have 10% off your pop-in cart. We were so sad to see you go. Once again, it's more that personalization. And here's the call to action. Complete your order today and save. What we do need to do, I realize, we need to add the coupon. We need to actually give them the coupon code. So let's say we created a coupon code is save10. Enter, let's say, save10 at checkout. And save. And complete your order today. So we change this line up a little bit. And you know all the standard implementations here of the ad copy. So the idea is, once again, we don't need to describe the benefits and features of our products right now because, like I said, these are people who already saw the benefits and features. These are people who already came to your site once, whether it be organically through an ad, through a social campaign, and now they've added items to your cart, and we want to appeal to get them back. So one thing is what we're doing is we're bidding more aggressively. That's the first technique. We're going to bid more aggressively because these are for sure guaranteed high quality visitors because they've added items to their cart. They just didn't check out yet. The second thing is with your ad copy. You want to give that personalization. Use the chance that you have with remarketing to be more personal, to be a little bit more humorous, to be a little bit more emotional. So and also use the fact that you're remarketing to give people a reason to check out. So if you could afford a 10% coupon, whether it be a 5% coupon, whether it's a free shipping promotion, give them a reason to come back. Because what's happening likely is that they're now comparison shopping. If we're going to still use keyword targeting, but when somebody kind of came to your site through a desk chair search, added a desk chair to their cart, and they came back to Google and continued doing desk chair searches, you want to get back in front of them, okay? So now we need to select our keywords. And I don't want you to get confused. This is a keyword targeted campaign, but we're only showing our ads. It's only applied or it's only active to our remarketing audience. Think of it like a schedule. The same way you could have a schedule and keywords at the same time, you could also have a remarketing audience and keywords at the same time. The way a schedule works is if I have my ad set from 9 in the morning till 5 at night, then when someone comes to Google and searches for such and such a keyword, show my ad. It's the same thing with remarketing. If somebody is on my remarketing audience and they come to Google and search for such and such a keyword, show my ad. So what we're doing here is we're going to add keywords, and we could copy and paste a lot of the keywords that we used, but the third strategy is to be a little broader. So over here we might just go with office chairs, phrase match, or even a broad match modified office chairs. And we could do things like buy file cabinets online. I'm not going to go through all, I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of adding keywords. We could take some from the suggestions here: executive office furniture, home office furniture, even if it's a little bit broad matched, because once again, we don't need to be as worried with our match types here, because we're really just interested in getting back in front of our potential customers when they're searching for our competitors or when they're continuing to educate themselves. We want them to come back and finish their order. And I'll save the ad group, and we should be good to go. So now we have an ad group, remarketing to cart abandoners, 10% coupon come back, but at this point, we haven't told Google that this should only be working with remarketing. Right now, if this campaign is active, which it is, and I'm going to just pause it here so I don't spend any money, but if this campaign was active, actually let me enable the ad group and pause the campaign. Right now, the campaign was active. What would happen is if anybody came to Google and searched for something related to my keywords, my ad would be eligible to show just like a totally traditional ad campaign. But now what we want to do is we want to modify the settings with an audience. We want to tell Google only show our ads when a query matches my keywords to my remarketing audience. Okay, so what you do is you jump over to audiences, and this is one of the ways you could do it. Once this page loaded, we have the ability to now add a remarketing audience. To do that, once again, you see the big beautiful red button that we're all becoming very familiar with, and we click add remarketing. And the first thing that we're going to be told to do is to choose an ad group. So we're going to choose the ad group that we just created, 10% coupon back. Okay, now that we've selected that ad group, we need to add targeting. So we're going to add an interests and remarketing list, and we need to click this drop-down menu and change to remarketing lists. And now we can select multiple or just one of our remarketing audiences. And because I want this campaign to just be running to my cart abandoners, I'm going to click the double chevron and I'll have cart abandoners selected. I'll come down here, I'll choose target and bid. It's a very, very important distinction. We're not going to get into too deeply the difference between target and bid only, but just know that if you want to only target your remarketing list, your remarketing audience, then make sure you select target and bid and not bid only. If you have bid only selected, then your ads will show to everybody who matches your keywords, whose queries match your keywords, but you'll have the option to bid more aggressively if that person was also on your remarketing audience. Target and bid is a setting that we want to configure because it will make sure that the only people eligible to see our ads for this campaign are people who both are on our remarketing audience and whose queries matched one of our keywords. Okay, so once I select a target and bid, I'll click close. And I can ignore ad group and campaign exclusions and click save. Okay, so I have cart abandoners set up as an audience, and now we're all set to go. The only problem is, of course, that we just simply don't have any people on this remarketing audience yet, but be that as it may, we have now set up our very first remarketing campaign for search. And once again, I wanted to review the three main strategies we used here. One of them was a more aggressive bid. And you should be able to tell me by now why I'm allowed to use a more aggressive cost per click bid. The reason is because I'm only showing ads to people who showed a tremendous amount of interest in my products or services. They added an item to the cart. If you added an item to the cart on my page and you didn't check out, you're a good visitor. I want you back. And it's more likely the chance of you buying when you click again is higher than if you were just a person coming to the site for the first time. That's why when it comes to tracking my return on investment, it's reasonable to bid significantly higher for this sort of remarketing campaign for cart abandoners. Now, if I was just retargeting, if I was remarketing my all visitors list, I would still bid a little bit more aggressively, but not as much more aggressively, because an all visitors list might be someone who just came to my homepage for a minute and left and did not like anything that I had to sell. And they would then be eligible to see my remarketing ads. In this case, where I'm only showing ads to cart abandoners, I have the freedom, and I strategically should bid more aggressively. So that was strategy 1, bidding more aggressively. Remember that. Strategy 2 was to use the text in the ad to be more personable, to show our previous visitors that we know who you are, we know that you have a product in our cart, we really want you back, and to use the text in the ad to give them a reason to do it, give them a reason to come back to you. So use a coupon, use a promotion, use a sale, use anything you can to appeal to them to come back and choose you over your competition. If you need to use reviews, if you need to use your return policy, whatever it may be. The third factor was being broader with our keywords. We weren't so neurotic about exact match and phrase match. We had a bunch of broad match keywords in there, and that's because I'm not really that concerned exactly what a person's typing in, because the whole reason we control match types is because we don't want to get a person to our site who's not likely to buy. But the person seeing our ads now is for sure likely to buy because he already told us that he's interested in some of our products and he added them to the cart. So I'm much happier, and I'm totally okay with being much freer or much more broad with my keyword match types. And that's exactly why we have it set up that way. So those are the 3 strategies: being broad with our keywords, bidding more aggressively, and using the text ad to our advantage. And now we have a campaign that's up and ready to run. And we also went ahead and, of course, once you created that campaign, you have to apply the remarketing audience to that campaign, target and bid, and you are ready to go. And you can create multiple remarketing ad groups, multiple remarketing campaigns, and you could do a lot of really cool stuff. I'm sure you guys, and I'm sure you are going to come up with some tremendous techniques and strategies and create really, really cool and successful remarketing campaigns that are continue to bring your visitors back to the website time and time again. Before we jump out of this course before we jump out of this unit, I want to show you what it looks like in a real account where we have remarketing audiences that are already set up. So let me go ahead and jump into an account. So here we are in a live client account, and as you can see, we see the remarketing tag has a nice green check mark, AdWords tag last active 2:58 a.m. So this was checked and our remarketing tag is working. And over here you can see what it looks like when we have all these different website audiences set up. So we have homepage visitors, please come back. This is similar to what a cart abandoner would be. A main list, this is also rule-based. Homepage visitors minus our members, and over here you can see exactly the size of the list. So this number, 56,000, this represents how many people are in this list. So it's a pretty big remarketing audience. We have 56,000 people who have come to our website who we could remarket to using this audience. And for the display network, there's 59,000 people. Some people are not eligible to have shown ads on the main Google properties. You could only show them ads on display network. There's a number of reasons why that is. So sometimes you'll find that the Google properties, which is Google search and Google Maps and things like that, you'll find that the list size is a little bit smaller than the display network list size. But just keep in mind, just know that what this really is, this number represents how many people on this list. Okay, so that's exactly what this would look like. If we would click into the list, we'd be able to see demographic, audience insights. It's really, really cool stuff. So we can see people what types of people are on our list. So for example, if I wanted to click on retail jobs, okay, I would see that 9.8% of homepage visitors, which is my remarketing audiences, is in the market for retail jobs, compared to 0.3% in the overall United States. So there's a healthy percentage of people on my remarketing audiences that are looking for retail jobs. There's 5% of people who are looking for personal loans, and I can get a sense of how many impressions and cookies are available to get for that remarketing audience. And these are just a lot of different insights we could see once you start building up your audiences. You'll come in here, you'll look at your in-market audiences, you look at your demographics. We can see here that most of the people on our list are from 18 to 24. Very few people are 65 and above. male, female, parent, not a parent. So you could kind of get insights into the people on your remarketing audiences. And that's a very, very cool thing. It's very helpful as you continue to build out this campaign. But I just wanted I wanted to show you exactly what a built out live AdWords account spending a lot of money looks like with a bunch of remarketing audiences that have been running for a long time. And it's really cool as you continue to look into this data. Jumping back over to us, that's really what we want to cover here for remarketing. You have a lot to work with. Keep in mind, remarketing is a crucial component of your marketing strategy. Your campaigns are going to be more successful and more profitable, and you'll be able to take more business away from your competition the more remarketing you do. Remember, when you create your remarketing campaign, it just starts off like a regular search campaign. Once you create your campaign, you create your ad group, you create your ad, you create your keyword lists, that's when you go over back to your audiences tab over here and you apply a remarketing audience to the campaign with the target and bid setting checked. Keep in mind the 3 strategies: broad keywords, ad text that appeals and ad text that's personable, and using a more aggressive max CPC bid. Okay, so those are the 3 strategies. You know exactly how to do it. We've diagnosed how to use the tag manager and how to add your remarketing tag to your website. It's really exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with your own remarketing campaigns. The best of luck with developing those remarketing campaigns in search. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Always very truly yours. Cheers for now.